Titans Global. Let's go. Started with a vision, two voices in the mix. Max and Link together, building something that'll stick. Every episode we drop, yeah, we're reaching new heights. Titans Global on the map, burning bright every night. From the first recording session to the fans that tune in, we've been grinding every day, yeah, we're destined to win. Titans Global, that's the name, that's the brand, we the fans. Speaking truth through the microphone, messages that we send. Titans Global, that's the movement. Titans Global, feel the power. Titans Global, we keep pushing. Titans Global, this our hour. Titans Global, Max and Link. Titans stronger than you think. Titans Global, that's the way. Titans Global, every single day.
What's up, Titans fans? Welcome to another episode of Titans Global Podcast. I am your host, Maximus Titan Fan, and with me, as always, is my good buddy Link. What's up, bro?
What's going on, guys? Good to be here. Pre-game show, Titans, Patriots. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Get in the comment section. Want to hear from y'all. Can't really say much more. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Mike Vrabel returns to Tennessee. He's coming to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and he's all out of bubblegum. So, question for you. So you're going to be at the game. How was he received, in your opinion?
Look, man, I got love for Vrabes. I'm not a hater.
Okay.
You know, and I don't think he's just a terrible coach. I think there was some circumstances that led to, you know, him being fired. I think, honestly, if you give him Rand Carthon instead of, what was his dumbass name? I don't know. The guy that traded AJ Brown. I can't even
John
remember
Robinson.
his name right now. There we go. Had a mental block on it. Probably from trauma. But seriously, I think honestly, if you give him a better, you know, roster, I don't think he's fired. But I just
does he get a cheer?
Stagnant.
Does he get a cheer?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
See, I think he might. I think there's a select few because look, if you're going to these games, it's for one of two reasons. It's either because tickets are cheap as hell, or you're just an absolute insane fan, which in your case, it's the latter. And like, I just feel like there's going to be enough people in the stadium who has seen everything go down these last couple of years, who still have a lot of emotional connection to that Vrabel team. And like, I think there's a few applause when he comes out. Now, I don't think it lasts long, but I think he does get a little bit of applause when he comes out. I believe that.
Look,
it'd be hard for me not to. Like, he took him to an AFC championship. And like we were talking before the show, since he left, they've won, what, 5 games? So it's like, the best memories we have in recent is with Vrabel. Like, I might low key golf clap a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, he still had the worst. I mean, he still lost 7 games in his last 8 games. I mean,
he did.
It's not. Look, I'm not a Vrabel hater, but at the same time, I'm not going to cheer the coach of the team that's coming in to try to whoop our ass. It's just not how I roll. Now, if they were like honoring him in some way, you know, that's.
Let me ask you this. Let's say the Ravens come to Nissan Stadium and Derrick Henry takes the field. Do you clap for him? See where I'm going with this? Like, to some people in their minds, it's a similar situation.
Well, it's different for me because Derrick Henry gave us his blood, man.
I don't know that Vrabel didn't, though.
And I feel like that is why Vrabel lost his job. If we're being real, I'll be real with you, dude. If I heard we got to play better and coach better one more time in the post game, I swear, when Callahan said it, I about lost my mind, dude. I could not. I can't handle that anymore. It was like he was disconnected. He had came into this slump. You know what I mean? I think it took all the wind out of his sails. Whatever you want to say.
Okay.
But I think the air was stagnant, and it wasn't so much that he was a bad coach. It was just time for a change. It was
Yeah.
the same reasoning behind getting rid of Derrick Henry. It wasn't because Derrick Henry is an aging player or he's washed or he's not worth the contract that he got or no, it's none of that. It's
Mhm.
because we wanted a direction change. And I mean, I suppose we did get a change. Um, you know,
Yeah, for
uh
better or worse.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But no, I don't cheer Vrabel as the head coach of the Patriots coming in. Like I
Okay.
said, if
It,
we were honoring him or something at halftime, yeah, dude, I'll
yeah.
cheer on you all day long. But I understand what you're saying because when you ask if I would cheer him, yes, I
Yeah.
absolutely would. As soon as they announce his name, because they're going to announce him separately, like they
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
so yeah, as soon as they say Derrick Henry, I'm out of my chair screaming because he's the king for me, and he always will be. Like I said, it was nothing against him or that he was a bad player. It was just time for something.
It'll be interesting because Vrabel, I mean, I can't, and I know I'm sure it's happened and it's probably happened recently, but I mean, Vrabel's giving interviews with local Titans media. Like that's gotta be, he knows that's a low blow, right? Like he
Yeah,
has to know. And
yeah.
especially Vrabel, who doesn't even like talking to his
To the
own team's
media.
media.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
it's kind of nuts that he's doing interviews with Titans media. And then he was asked about it in the press conference, not the most recent one, but going back, I think it was the post game of the Patriots last game. But they were like, what feelings do you have? And he's like, well, there's things that are interesting and there's things that are important, and this falls into the interesting category. I'm paraphrasing, but like he knows, and firing Callahan doesn't lower his emotions going into this any less, like, because he didn't care about Callahan. Like, his
No,
beef, if he has it, is with the front
it's not with
office. It's with
Callahan.
Amy,
Yeah.
it's with Brinker, it's with Nahil. Like, he's coming for blood. and,
Well,
and it's possible, we'll get into the stats and stuff. I just wanted to get this elephant out of the room. But I mean, it's possible that Drake May comes in here and has his worst game, and they get that interim coach bump, the Titans do, and they find a way to win this one. But like, Vrabel's sitting there, he won the war. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna glance up at that owner's booth at least once or twice in this one. I guarantee you that.
yeah, I was just about to say, you brought up Brinker and, Amy. Amy's really the only one. Amy was the only one that was left. There's no Rand Carthon. There's
Mm-hmm.
no Chad Brinker wasn't here when Vrabel was here.
No, he
Uh,
was. He was under Carthon when Vrabel, wasn't he? Am I wrong in that? I thought, I could be wrong on that. I thought he was brought in under Carthon
you
when
might be
Vrabel
right,
was let go. I'm pretty
but
sure.
that's
I could
that's
be
what I'm
wrong about
saying
that.
though. It was in that off season he was hired.
Yeah.
I don't think there was an overlap. Excuse me. I don't think there was an overlap of Brinker and Vrabel. I don't know that, but I feel like that's right. So I don't think there's really any ill will of Vrabel except to the ownership. Or and he might harbor some ill will towards the ownership, but I don't think any of the other staff was even around when he was let go or was a part of him being let go. And it's just like if you get replaced at your job, you don't hate on the guy that took your job, you hate on the boss that fired you for it. Maybe you hate on the guy that took your job, especially if he's not
Yeah.
as good as you. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's that much ill will either way. Um, I
I
don't know.
don't
I
know.
just really
I
don't.
don't
I
know.
don't. I don't think so. Maybe, and maybe definitely at first. Um, but I believe now he's in a place where he wants to be, and he
Oh,
realizes that
absolutely.
he has
Oh
a
yeah.
great opportunity here. Or with the Patriots, being the
Yeah.
Patriots head coach, he's got good offensive coordinator. He's defensive coach, so no, I think he's happy where he's at, and he knows that if he wasn't fired from the Titans, he probably wouldn't have that job right now. So I don't know. I think there's like you said, maybe a little bit towards Amy, but other than that, I don't really.
Well, I mean, this was his dream job with the Patriots. I mean, he played there. I mean, let's look on the bye week for the
He
Titans.
wanted to be
He
Belichick.
flew to New England to get honored during halftime as he was the current head coach of a conference rival. Like, I don't care what anybody says. The Patriots and the Titans, like, they date back. It is somewhat of a rivalry. Obviously, it's not Baltimore, but it's a rivalry. So yeah, I mean, this was his dream job. What he has now, it was laying in wait. And look, I'll be honest, like, I don't know. I can't say definitively that when that coaching job opened up and it just so happened it lined up with his firing, like, I don't think he was upset about being fired, but that was his job. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they got a stopgap coach, like, eventually Mike Vrabel was destined to be the head coach of New England. Like, with his relationship with Kraft and his playtime dating back, like, it was going to happen eventually. So yeah, I don't know that I necessarily call it ill will, but I think when he looked at the schedule, he circled this game as one of those, like, this is going to be one of those moments, like returning to this stadium, facing the ownership, facing that media. Like, this was one of those moments. So we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it's definitely going to be emotionally charged, in my opinion. Going to be interesting to see how he's received. But yeah, I guess we can get into the stats and see how this one stacks up.
Well, I mean, it don't stack up great.
Yeah.
Normal Titans time, normal Titans channel. 1-5 Titans take on the 4-2 Patriots. They are favored by 7 points. 7
Feels low. Low.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel if you get a full touchdown in pro football on a Vegas line, that is pretty high. I feel it's pretty high.
I mean, I would have expected this. My expectation would for this game to have opened at like 9.5. Like, I think it could have easily been a 10-point spread, in my opinion. Just if you look at the success that New England has had passing the ball, you look at how the Titans have struggled in the past game. To me, this feels like it could have been a little bit higher, which I agree with you. I mean, in most games, 7 is typically a lot, but this one felt like it could have been more to me.
Yeah, let's see. 42 is the over-under. That's an interesting one right there. The Patriots are averaging, I think, like 36 or 37 points when they're away from home, which is actually more than they have when they are at home, which is weird. But Tennessee is letting 26 points on defense, I believe, average per game. So that seems to line up pretty well. So it's probably a pretty good guess if you're a betting person that 26, 27 points are going to be scored by the Patriots. It's just whether the Titans' lackluster offense can muster up the 21 or 22 points to make the difference up. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. He's gonna. We'll talk about it later, but he's doing very well. He's doing well. Injury report. There is some interesting ones here. There's something worth monitoring at least. Titans injuries. Key, Ridley, and Draymond Jones showed up all of a sudden today out of nowhere on
with
the
a knee too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the hell is going on there. Sweat has played in a limited or practiced in a limited for 2 days now, but I really don't think he plays Sunday. I think they hold him out one more week like they did with Latham when they opened up the window with him. But on the flip side, Landry hasn't participated at all in practice yet. So he gets one more shot Friday to practice, and then just a couple more days to get that. What is it? I think it's a knee on him too. I don't know.
Ankle.
But anyway,
Ankle.
ankle. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Anthony was limited as well. So literally, both those starting edges could be out this game. So I think that's something worth monitoring. Charles Woods is injured, but he's always injured, so it doesn't matter. But I do think the Landry and Anthony injuries are something definitely to keep an eye on. Even if they play, how much of an impact do they have in the limited role that they'll be playing in because of the injury? Of course, Vrabel's not really one to worry about injuries either. So, I mean, what's your take on it?
It's hard for me to imagine that if Landry has any capability to go, that you don't see him. Like, I just feel like even with having no practice, I would be a little bit surprised if he doesn't see at least some play time in this, especially with the way that JC Latham struggled last week. I think that's a very, very interesting matchup if he goes. I think that Landry's play style, in the way that it's kind of similar to the speed and getting around people, I think that definitely plays to the weaknesses of JC Latham. We saw that with Crosby last week. So I hope he doesn't. I mean, I'll say that because I think he would be set for a big game if he didn't have this injury. But it's just hard for me to believe that he doesn't see any playing time. And I mean, Vrabel's, like, we know from his time here, he's very, very popular for keeping things close to the vest. Like, he doesn't really show his hand much when it comes to injuries. I mean, hell, he could have the whole team listed as questionable come Friday. So, like, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I just, something in my gut tells me Landry goes, even if it's somewhat limited. But I could be wrong. That's just kind of my gut feeling on this one.
Well, you did talk about Latham there for a minute, and I kind of wanted to hit on that a little bit because I really feel like we got, I don't want to say we got bamboozled or anything, but not only did one Callahan fool us, but both the Callahans fooled us. And I really feel like he was heavily influenced on the draft to draft J.C. Latham. We heard it in the stories about how he said he thinks he's the best tackle in the draft and all this stuff. He didn't work out at left tackle, so they threw him over to right tackle, and he's not really doing great in the pass blocking area. As far as the running goes, it's not bad. He's not a bad running offensive lineman. It's the pass blocking that kind of messes him up. And I think that's where Bill Callahan probably is a great offensive line coach. If you're talking about 10 years ago when, you run the ball to set up the pass and the play action, but most of your game was running the ball. You had to run the ball in the league to survive. Bill Callahan was probably a commodity. But in today's NFL, when it's a heavily passing league and you have to be able to pass block, I think his type of lineman is not really good for pass block. And it's obvious evidence of that when you see Latham drop 25, 30 pounds in the off season to try to be more athletic and keep up with some of these. And he's still not being able to keep up with them. But I mean, I don't think it's time to like pull the plug on Latham or freak out or anything like that. I'm just saying that he is doing everything he can as a person and a player to improve his play. But I feel like he was put in an unfair situation because he shouldn't have been drafted there.
I want to believe that. And it's not that I don't believe that to this point yet. But what concerns me is there are a few more reports that came out, and I haven't really looked into the sources, but when Jeffrey Simmons was talking about how it was their worst week of practice and that type of thing, people have been saying that a lot of those comments were attributed to the fact that he felt like JC Latham, more so than anyone, wasn't giving full effort during that week. And that could have been partially due to injury. It just that's what concerns me a little bit. And I'm not saying he's got a bad attitude. Like, I don't know. I don't know that he's been around long enough for us to have a good gauge on that yet. But I
Yeah.
mean, when you come from a Nick Saban coach team, and well, I guess was he under? I don't know. I'll have to look back on that. But either way, you come from a program like Alabama, and then you come into the NFL, you haven't had a lot of success. You're on a losing team. You haven't really been playing for much. Like, I just don't want these guys to start losing focus and losing sight of what's ahead. And then with Jeffrey Simmons' comments coming out and those being supposedly pointing to guys like Latham, like that's when I start to get a little more concerned. Because if you look on the flip side at like Skoronski, I mean, he's been nothing but an ideal offensive lineman. Like you've seen that growth week over week, year over year. I'm just hoping we can see that same thing out of Latham, even if it's not because they're winning games. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my only concern on that front. And I don't know that he was moved to right because he really failed at left. Like that was an interesting move just for the simple fact that they brought in a guy who was more comfortable on the left side. Latham played right when he was in college, so the left felt kind of out of position for him anyway. So then they moved him on the right to try things out, since that was his more comfortable position this year. So I don't know. Like he's shown me flashes. He just hasn't been enough. Like you said, especially in the pass blocking, that's where we've seen most of the issues. But man, let's just really hope that last week was the worst game of his career, because that was abysmal. Like that was one of the worst games from a Titans offensive lineman that I've seen in a while. Going back to like Jalen Duncan, like it was that bad. Crosby just ate all game long. So hopefully with the new position coach coming in for the offensive line, that gets fixed up a little bit. Maybe they try some different things, but yeah, we got to figure that out on the right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not great anyway. The situation isn't great. It would be cool if we got Sweat back this week, but I just really don't think. I don't think he's, especially in the the football shape that he's in. I think he's a different kind of player. He's got to be put on a snap count and stuff like that, until his conditioning is a little bit better. Of course, last year he did do great. He played a lot. But anyway, go ahead.
While we're there on that interior, just again, let's get another elephant out of the room. As we near the trade deadline, how much credence do you give to the Jeffrey Simmons talk, especially now? Because okay, here's kind of my thoughts on this. If I'm the front office, and please don't ever think that I try to put myself in the head of our front office people, because I just don't understand some of the things that they do. But if I'm an average front office, I think the Callahan firing almost leans more into the fact that Simmons could be traded. And I say that because if you're going to Callahan, who's won 4 games over his career, it's really hard to tell him, hey, I know you're struggling. I know things are bad, but by the way, we're getting rid of your best player and trading him for a first-round pick. Now, it kind of frees you up to be able to go to Mike McCoy and say, hey, we're just expecting you to do the best you can with this situation. We're kind of moving forward to looking ahead to the next couple years. We're going to trade Simmons. Like, I think this makes it a little bit easier for the front office to begin shopping Simmons. Would you agree with that, or do you think it's just not possible at
all? I mean, look, here's the thing. Simmons is your best player by far.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you're looking for high draft pick possibilities from players that you can trade off as assets, yeah, Jeffrey Simmons fits the bill. But at the same time, when you're rebuilding a team, when you're a rebuilding team, and I know it's not unfair, or I know it's a little unfair to Jeff, but it is what it is. You don't want to let your best player go, especially the guy that's the leader of the defense. And I just feel like that is a bad idea. Like I said, he's going to bring the most. So I mean, it's the only chance of getting a first or second round draft pick is to trade Jeffrey Simmons. So I mean, if you're going after draft capital, like Brinker said or Berkowitz, whoever said that in their comments, then I can understand it. But I just don't. I, it's like it's like we said a couple weeks ago. Whatever the asking price for Jeff is, as a Titans fan, and it's just not enough. Oh, yeah. What link?
There we go. We're good. So here's what I'll say. Yes, Jeffrey Simmons is your best player right now. He's in his prime. That being said, he's 28 years old. They're obviously not a playoff team this year.
Yeah.
Realistically, you're probably not a playoff team, or you're right on the cusp of it next year if you're able to develop and become well. So let's say we're looking at a 2 to 3 year window for this Titans team to make their next run and make a deep playoff push. Now Jeffrey Simmons is 30, 31 years old. I don't know that he's still in his prime at that point. So if I'm the Titans, I'm looking at this like, I don't want to end up in a Derrick Henry situation where all of a sudden you're getting nothing for him and he's going to walk anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Like, if you can get something for him now while he's in his prime, while he's 28 years old, you can give him the opportunity to go ring chase. You can bring in maybe a first and a fourth. Like, I don't know. I'm open to the idea. Just for the fact that, like, yes, he's your best player. Yes, your defense is going to suffer if he's not here. But can you bring in other pieces that we're looking at in 2027, 2028 that's going to help us reach our goal instead of a 31-year-old Jeffrey Simmons, when who knows what he's going to be playing like at that point? That's why I'm a little more open to the idea of it, just because, like, this season is a wash in the sense that we're not going to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I'm still interested to see how Cam Ward progresses, how the rookies progress, but it's a wash in the sense that, like, we're not making a Super Bowl run this year. I just want to get something for him before it's too late. You know what I mean? Like, that's my only concern. Plus, you're asking him to do so much right now without T'Vondre Sweat. Like, at some point, you're going to run him into the ground. I mean, we're 5-6 games in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting a lot on his plate right now. And if you can get something for him right at the trade deadline, get a first round pick, use that to build this roster. Like, that's what I said, when Carthon was let go and they said we were in this rebuild. Like, if you're in a rebuild, just rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, yes, like, this isn't about Jeffrey Simmons, in my opinion. Every single part of this team should now be built around Cam Ward. Like, Greg Cosell, he had a really interesting thing with Buck Rising when they did their weekly installment, but and he said it best: when you bring in a first overall quarterback, everyone from the janitor to the marketing team to the front office, everything should be centered around making that quarterback a star. Like, that's what your focus should be, is trying everything you can do to build this team around Cam Ward. So if I can get a first round pick for Simmons and then maybe like a fourth or something, and then use those picks, so we're sitting here in 2027 talking about all the weapons that Cam Ward has, like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And we've seen the discipline stuff, and it's not even about that. I just think you need to get something for him while you can, because I don't want to be having this conversation next year and all of a sudden we're talking about getting a third round for him. And then the next year we're talking about getting a fifth round for him. And then his contract's up and we're going to let him walk, and then we get nothing for him, the same way that happened with Derrick Henry. So that's my fear. That's why I think you have to be open to offers if they're on the table.
I understand that, but also, if I'm playing the devil's advocate to that, draft is scary, man. I mean, I know John Robinson's an idiot, and I'm not trying to compare, like, this is what happens all the time, but we did try to trade off a player and then replace him with a draft pick once before, and it blew up in our face so horribly that I really just don't want to see that again. And that's my point, is I think in the next 2 to 3 years, is Jeffrey Simmons as good as a first round draft pick over the next 2 or 3 years? And my answer to that is yes. And as long as that's still the answer, I say you don't trade Jeffrey Simmons. But hey, everybody has opinions, and obviously, yes, I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot.
I'm wrong a
Other
lot
people
too.
are. There we go. But we'll see. I mean, only time will tell, really. And we don't have too awful long to wait to find out if they're going to trade Jeff or not. So
October 31st, Halloween. Is that right?
yeah,
Scary
I'm
stuff.
pretty sure. I'll
Scary
be
stuff.
honest with you, man. I think if we're looking at trade people, Roger McCreary is one that pops up. I hate the idea of it because he's a young talent, and we really need to keep any defensive backs that we have right now. But he's at the end of his contract. He's talented. He's young. So I feel like he would probably garner a good draft pick, maybe even a third or better. Because, and I guess I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I
see,
hate this. I hate this yard sale crap.
Well, that's where I think, and you mentioned how hard it is in the draft, and that's why I think that's definitely this year. I mean, I thought they should have traded back last year, but that's done and gone. I think you're definitely, if you're a top 3 pick, you've got to trade back this year because the draft is hard, and the more first round picks you have, the better chances you have to hit on stuff. But I'll say this: I think it's a lot easier to find a maybe not elite like Jeffrey Simmons, but I think it's a lot easier to find a solid starting interior defensive lineman than it is to find that in a DB. So I would actually disagree there. I think I would be much less inclined to trade a guy like McCrary than I would to be a guy like Simmons. I'll be honest. And that's kind of weird for me to say, but just the more I think about it in my head, like I think you've got to keep your DBs because you're so thin at that position already, and there's not a lot in the works looking down the track. Like, I think Jeffrey Simmons, I'm going to regret saying this. I think Jeffrey Simmons is more replaceable than Roger McCreary, which sounds insane to say. But, I mean, you look at Tavondre Sweat. Like, he could be your next Jeffrey Simmons if all things work out and he continues progressing. Like, we may be talking about that down the road. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, we're 2 weeks away. So if they're going to do something, it's time to get going. I think it's definitely going to be an interesting deadline. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think the trade deadline is going to be very interesting to see who I mean, Hooker's another candidate that I think is a trade candidate, but there's a couple trade candidates that the Titans could potentially trade. Come on, Walter.
We managed to get way off the tracks there. We do have a game to talk about.
Yeah.
I guess we can hit a break and then just focus on this game coming back.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was gonna do. Yeah. So yeah, stick around. Got to give some love to the sponsors. It's only about 40 seconds, and we'll be right back. There is no Scoob tonight, so we'll be right back.
What's up, Titans fans? Maximus Titan fan here. Are you in need of professional excavation services? Look no further. Red Zone Builders has the expertise, experience, and equipment to handle all or any excavation project, big or small. Whether you need land clearing, site preparation, trenching, foundation excavation, or any other excavation services, they have you covered. Their team of skilled professionals will work diligently to ensure your project is completed safely, efficiently, and to your satisfaction. Trust the experts at Red Zone Builders to get the job done right.
There we go. Such a boss.
Still better than Mayo commercials.
Oh God. Damn it. I do want to say that, one, this is how you debate Titans topics. You don't cut low and be like you are on the internet. But two, I honestly think that we have better shows when we don't agree on something and we try to, you know what I mean? Because I feel like we get everybody's perspective, or maybe there is a third perspective out there. But my point is I feel like it's a better show when we don't agree on subjects than when we do. But I got asked by somebody, we got a new coach. Does that mean we're going to see a new Titans? I simply said no.
No, we do agree on this one. Absolutely not. No.
I mean, 97% of the staff is all retained, so it's the same people making the same. Now, I will agree that maybe McCoy didn't have as much influence on the plays or the play calling or whatever, and he might have better scheme ideas or play calls, pregame schemes, whatever you want to call it. But no, I don't think there's a huge uptick, even if there. I mean, come on, man. Mike McCoy didn't do great at the Chargers, so I don't expect him to do great here. And he had pretty good weapons while he was with the Chargers. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Did they announce is Bo still in charge of play calling? I may have missed that. Okay, that's what I thought. And that's kind of where I go with it. Like, your scheme may be slightly different. Yeah, McCoy may try to make things a little easier of a process for Cam Ward. Maybe you get away from the screens. Maybe you focus on running the ball more. Like, I don't know, but it's still the same roster. It's still the same play caller.
Well, we don't know how much Brian Callahan was influencing those plays, because I'll be honest with you, it did not look much different.
Yeah,
it looked like the exact same play calling style with a trick play sprinkled in every now and then.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'll be most interested in the first offensive drive for the Titans, because where I felt like Callahan failed the most was his opening scripts in these games. Like, if you look at the best teams in the NFL, like, their opening scripts are designed to capitalize on the weaknesses of the other team. And it almost felt like Callahan's opening drives just played right into the other team's hand. So that's going to be what I'm most interested in, to see how that's different this week. Because that first drive, like, every play should be pretty much to a script. And that's just where they've been let down. Like, look, I believe they're the worst offense. I mean, they're the worst offense, period, but certainly the worst offense when it comes to first quarter and first half points. So that's where we saw where Callahan was unable to make those adjustments. He was unable to adapt. That'll be the biggest thing I look for in this game is, does that change? Does that aspect of it change? And we'll see. I think first and foremost, like I said, you've got to try in some way to slow things down for Cam Ward. You've got to make his process, his checkdowns a little bit easier, and I don't know, like, a lot of that's on Cam to an extent, because even when he's had those checkdowns, it looks like he's been hesitant to take them. He's always trying to push the ball down the field. So just seeing how they design plays, what type of routes the receivers are running, because that's something we haven't seen at all, is receivers creating separation. We haven't seen a lot of play action. We haven't seen Cam use his legs, which I thought we would see a lot more of this year. So yeah, just seeing how they incorporate that into the game plan and seeing if that's any different from the way Callahan did it. That's kind of what I'm going to be looking for early.
Yeah, same. And I'd swear, if we win the coin toss and take the ball, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh my God, bro.
I'm going to be pissed. But if you want to talk about some, I'm a stat nerd. I can't help myself. And when stats are the best or the worst in the NFL, I have to bring them up. So scoring differential 31st, only beaten out by the terrible Browns. Our offense is 13.8 points per game. That's 31st. 232 yards per game. That's dead last. 10 giveaways. That's 28th. Fourth from last. But the 10 giveaways is the thing that sticks out. But check this out. On advanced metrics, I found we are dead last in 20.8 yards and 1.15 points per drive. So we're only averaging 20 yards a drive. Yikes.
Yep.
That is freaking terrible. And our defense, honestly, let's be honest for a second. Our defense isn't terrible. Our defense
they played well enough to keep them in the majority of these games. Like, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, and if they were off the field more often, I feel like they would probably make better plays if they were more well rested. So
Hmm.
extending some of these offensive drives could really help the defense play better as well as like Brian Callahan was saying the right stuff. It just wasn't happening. And that is, we got to play complementary football and not complementary as the defense sucks and the offense sucks. You know, real complementary football. God bless. Sorry, I was just thinking about some time management and stuff, and that's the things I'm going to be looking for. The things I'm going to be looking for. I mean, you said you're going to be looking for that first drive and right after
Hmm.
halftime. I'm sure those are. I'll also be highly critical, but really, I'm looking for game management. And
Yep.
I have to give Callahan a little bit of credit because he did get a little bit better at game management when he stopped calling plays.
Slightly.
Obviously, he had a little bit more. What's up, Jonathan? Obviously, because he had a little bit more time to think about it. So I mean,
Hmm.
but that's really what I'm looking at. Game management. What's our clock management look like? I think you mentioned in the last game where we text each other, the clock was getting down to like 10 seconds
Yeah.
every single play. Like, how long does it take you to get the play in and then get your players lined up? I mean,
That's what was nuts to me. Even when they're down, even when they were going, which they didn't do much hurry up, but even when they were trying to go fast, no huddle, like the play clock was still getting under 10 seconds before they snapped the ball. And I mean, part of that might be on Cam Ward, but a lot of it's on the coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like you've got
yeah,
to, there was just no sense of urgency whatsoever. I haven't felt like there's been a sense of urgency this entire season. Even going
they've
back to the
handcuffed him.
even going back to the Arizona game, which they won, like there was still no sense of urgency. Like they were just given the ball in good position. So I'm totally with you there. I think a lot of things have to change in that department. And it brought me back to something that was said in the offseason where Callahan mentioned that it was interesting sending the play into Cam Ward because Cam Ward would still be talking trash to the defense while he's calling a play, but then Cam Ward was still getting the play in. And I haven't seen him like
Incorrect.
outright talking trash to defenses this year
Why? I
because
mean, well,
he's
yeah,
not in a position
terrible.
to. But that what like going back to that kind of like opened my eyes a little bit to like maybe part of that's on Cam, but I don't know. We'll see. That's why I'm curious to see how much it changes this week with McCoy at the helm or Bo at the helm, just seeing how that process is sped up pre-snap.
Well, I noticed it right off the bat. It was one of the things he emphasized in his first press conference as the interim head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCoy said he is going to hold players accountable for what they do on and off the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know that was a big thing for you, and I'm interested to see that too. I'm interested to see if, a guy fumbles the ball and if he just comes over and pats him on the head, walks off. That's not holding your guys accountable. So I'm interested to see that part of the game as well. There's a lot of stuff we'll be looking for, I'm sure.
Yeah. Pre-snap penalties is another one for me.
Oh God.
Pre-snap penalties have to change. And I think that's going to be a big tell of, and not maybe not necessarily this week because I don't think that's something that just gets magically worked out with a new coach. But going down the line, seeing if that's been more of a coaching issue or seeing if that's been more of a player issue, how that's cleaned up, especially on the offensive line. But like, look, going back to Simmons' comments this week, like saying that, he was asked, I think, how practice has been different. And he basically came out right and said it, like practice has been better to the extent of the sense of urgency of guys being held accountable, of things running smoothly. And he said not that they weren't before, but that's just what's being emphasized with this new coaching staff. So we'll see how it translates on the field. I mean, it can't get – no, I'm not saying that. Never mind.
Don't say that. Yeah, don't do that
Nope.
anymore, man.
Nope. I stopped myself.
All right. So one other thing I want to really emphasize about this game, and that is Drake May is playing like top quarterback. He's got 1,522 yards on 131 completions, 73.2% completion percentage, which is insane. Touchdown to interception is 10-2, which is crazy. I mean, his rating's 112.5. Yards per game are 253. The kid is just lighting it on fire.
Mhm.
And there's 6 different receivers with over 100 yards. I mean, that is, damn it, Jonathan. That is the worst. You know, I mean, he is spreading that ball around. It's not like, okay, well, all his balls are going to Stephen Diggs, and that's, you know, we just got to guard Stephen Diggs. No, I mean, he's got some dude named like Kayshawn Booty, I think his name is. I don't know. It's just what I'm seeing. Hunter Henry, I know that guy. Another familiar name you Titans fans might remember, Austin Hooper.
Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, Ramondre Ramondre Stevenson. I don't know, dude. These names are hard. Anyway, he is their number one running back right now, and he's killing it in rushing yards and passing. So that again, it's just Drake May has a plethora of places he can put the ball, and he's not afraid to throw it to any of them. It's just it's a problem. It's a real problem, especially as a defensive coordinator. I don't know I don't know how you fix that. I don't know what you attack that with. Uh, they seem to do well against the blitz. I didn't get the numbers on that. I probably should have, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the young man?
Yeah, I want to say this about May. I mean, the dude right now is 5th in the league in total passing yards. This is what happens when you get a quarterback in the right system with the right coaching staff and the right offensive coordinator. Like if you go back to his 24 stats, he played 13 games, 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. This year, he's 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions through 6. So I think Josh McDaniels, who, you know, he's had a very up and down career with the NFL, but I think he's found his place in New England as an OC behind Mike Vrabel. You want to talk about somebody who holds people accountable, like that is Mike Vrabel to a T. And I think that has been extremely helpful for Drake May. It's definitely translated on the field. And this, to me, is the type of jump that I want to see with Cam Ward. Like this is the type of trajectory, not the play style necessarily, but this is the type of trajectory that I want to see Cam Ward go on. Because like I said, this is what happens when you get the right staff in place and you center everything around your quarterback. And we saw Vrabel kind of do that here with Tannehill. And I mean, let's remember Tannehill was that retread quarterback for Miami, but then everything was centered around him. And Derrick Henry took a lot of pressure off of him, and it worked. So this is what I'm hoping for when they go to hire this staff, when they go to hire this head coach, when they bring in a new offensive coordinator. Like this is why I want to see everything centered around Cam Ward, because we've seen it work with guys like Baker Mayfield, with guys like Drake May, with guys like Bryce Young. Like we've seen that jump in these first-round players who struggled year one and then had a coaching change. So whatever you do, you have to make that right with Cam Ward come next year.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. The other big storyline that I'm not going to get to talk to about as much as I wanted to, but it's okay. The Patriots, I don't think the Patriots are as good as people think they are. I'm not saying, you know, I just talked about Drake May and how well he's doing and all that, blah, blah, blah. The defense is where I really think it's questionable. And the reason I say that is because the Patriots actually have the easiest NFL schedule out of any NFL team, period. Right now, the total wins of the teams that they've played are like 14. 12, 14, something like that. The Titans' total wins against the teams they played against is like 22. So it's a huge difference in strength of schedule. Although I don't think it makes up for the difference. I still
You
think
saying
the Patriots.
overrated? You overrated chant here? Is that
No, I think the Patriots are a
I'm
little
kidding.
overrated, but
Okay.
I don't think the Titans are good enough to make up that gap. Is really where I'm going with that. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I go back to the schedule. They lost to Pittsburgh 21-14, lost by a touchdown there. I mean, Vegas week 1 was their worst showing. I mean, by far. The
yeah.
Raiders have beat 2 teams, the Titans and the Patriots. So, but I mean, you look at their wins, like they got a 3-point win over Buffalo. They beat a Carolina team that was kind of rolling to an extent. Like we thought Bryce Young was. I mean, still is. I mean, he's starting to find his legs. Miami, which I mean, and then New Orleans, which they're in an argument for the worst team, sitting right there with the Titans. So I agree with you to an extent. They do have an easier schedule, but I don't think like Drake May's playing out of his mind, like way above what was expected. I still think they're a pretty solid team. You're always going to have a good defense when you have a Mike Vrabel coach team. And we'll see how it shakes out towards the end of the year. But look, I'm not saying it's not winnable for the Titans. Like there are weaknesses to this. I think they can play the run game pretty well. I think they've got to be able to get Drake May a little bit flustered. If they can find some type of a pass rush, if they can get him outside the pocket. But really what this is going to come down to is how much the offense has improved. You've got to be able to take advantage of the New England secondary. Going to be a little bit harder to do that now that Ridley's out. And that kind of brings me to another point I wanted to just touch on briefly. Like we kind of said something in the last show about this, but is this when you maybe roll out Restrepo just to see what you got? He's been involved in practice.
Yes.
He's kind of playing that I think he's playing that role where he's helping him prepare for Booty, like he's being that receiver. So he's had a little bit more FaceTime, more so with the 2s than the 1s. But I mean, like I'm good with Lockett. Like I know what you've got in Lockett. Like, can you not just put Restrepo out there and see what happens? And if he fails, he fails. And nobody looks dumb for trying it. Like there's never been a better time than right now. Like it, especially with Ridley out, bring in a guy that Cam Ward has had a connection with. And other than Ridley, he really hasn't had a connection with anyone. So bring out Restrepo, who he has that familiar face with, and just give it a shot. Like that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Dude, you're echoing all my thoughts right now. About 30 minutes before we came on the show, Restrepo dropped a tweet that simply said 21.52 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And little pray hands. But he's literally begging the team. Come on, man. If you don't think I'm fast enough, watch the tape in the game. It's about football speed, not short speed, man.
I don't care if he's the slowest player in the NFL with as many drop issues that this team's had.
I was gonna say
I could care less.
Everything.
Yeah, I could care less if he's slow, and I don't think he is. But I could care less if he is. Like if he can go down and create separation, which no other receiver on this team has been able to do, Calvin Ridley included, and actually put hands on the ball and hold on to it, like that's all I give a crap about at this point. Like speed is the least of my concern with this team right now.
I'll be real with you. I don't even care if he gets separation. If you just catch the damn ball, if you catch, I mean, we said it last week, I think. We saw it in the fourth quarter against Arizona. You can sustain this kind of play. All you have to do is catch the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cam's putting it there. We're getting there. I mean, he's past the sticks. If receivers weren't dropping balls, Cam Ward is the most penalized quarterback by drops as far as points left on the field out of the entire NFL. FTN, I believe, is where I got that stat, if you want to double check me. But that's a huge note. I mean, that's just ridiculous. The fact that if the receivers catch the ball, like in the Broncos game, if Van Jefferson catches that ball, we win that game. and all
More
of
than
a
likely.
sudden,
Yeah.
we're off to a 1-0 start. Maybe a different attitude to the team. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that spark would have already been there.
Mm-hmm.
But all you have to do is play the damn game that you're paid to do. I mean,
Yep.
do your job. That's
Yep.
really what it's about. Do your damn job. Catch the ball. We're paying you millions of damn dollars. I don't care if you get extra yards after you catch the ball, because where he puts it on you, you're already past the mark.
That's
So it
half the
doesn't
problem
matter.
is our receivers are looking down the field to try to make a play after the catch before they even secure the catch. That's half the
Yeah, and
problem.
it's just
And I
catch
look
the
and
damn
and
ball.
yes, do your job. Yes, you're paid to catch. But that's another thing I'm looking for going down the next 3 to 4 weeks. Like, does that change with this coaching staff? Like,
Yeah.
what's been the focus at practice with these receivers, and is that adjusted? So we'll see. But I think we're both of the same mind of like, it's time. Like, just put Restrepo in the game and see what happens.
Man,
Because
I'm
you
tired of
know what you
Lockett.
have. That's what I'm saying. You know what you have in him. You know what you have in Locke. And somebody mentioned Kinsey. Like, to be fair, you know what
No.
you have in Kinsey. Like, you know
Yeah.
what you have there. Like, let's bring out a rookie who is on a rookie contract and just see if you can get something out of him. It can't hurt. I mean, this dude's an undrafted free agent. Just see what you got. That's what the rest of this season is just seeing what you got. You're in a rebuild. You're figuring out who you're going to keep. You're figuring out who you're going to move forward with. There's no better time than now to just try something new.
Yeah, and we're sitting here talking about wide receivers can't catch the damn ball, and he catches everything that comes to him. So I think, honestly, if they don't start him in the next couple weeks, it's almost like just insanity. What are you
Yeah.
doing at that point? You know, because we're already done. We're already mathematically out of it. At this point, we're just seeing what we got in the young rooks, you know, and seeing how well we can develop our young rooks until it's next season, and then we're going to look towards whatever we're looking towards in the next off season. I'm not even looking that far because I'm trying to look right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, that was our problem this year, or maybe it was last year. We were looking to, oh, well, you know, we might not be good right now, but just add a couple pieces and we'll be good then. I don't know. I hate to end the show on a note like that, but, you know.
Oh, we won't. Let's give a score prediction.
I was going to say, let's do some predictions to get us out of the slump. Of course, I don't know if that's really going to get us out of a slump.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Just because, you know, I've been pretty negative this whole show. Scoob, we miss you, man. We need you for our positivity. I think the Patriots win. Honestly, I think the Patriots win by probably a good amount, maybe 28-14.
Oh, man. I had 28-13. We're right there
Oh,
together.
look
I
at
promise.
that.
Had it wrote down. Didn't steal it. 28-13
Oh, my God.
Patriots is what I got. I will say this, though. There is, I mean, there's a path to victory in every game. This one could get weird. I'll say that. Like,
I agree with that.
I still think there's a lot of emotion tied up in this for both teams. There's still some people on this roster who were here during the Vrabel years. I definitely think both locker rooms are going into this. Like, the Patriots are going into this, hey, we're going to win this for Vrabel. There's some guys in the Tennessee locker room that's like, if we win one game the rest of this season, this is the one we want it to be. So it could get weird. I'll say that. So if everything goes to script, I think it's 28-13 Patriots. That being said, if the Titans can force a couple turnovers, if they can generate some pressure, especially Jeffrey Simmons, because he's going to be one of those dudes who's, I feel like is wanting this one. Not because he hates Vrabel, just because I think he wants to kind of get one over on him because they were close. So if he can get one over on him, he's definitely going to try. So if they can find some pressure, if they can force some turnovers, if the special teams can continue to be special, and if Cam Ward can just process things a little bit quicker and let the game slow down a little bit, I think he can find some success on this New England secondary. So if it does get weird, and this turns into a close game and we're sitting there in the fourth quarter within 3 scores, like I think something crazy could happen. But that being said, I think New England comes in and blows the brakes off of them. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. And I'll be real with you, man. I'm gonna be at the game, obviously. Me and Scoob are gonna be there. But it's like I think it's right now it's at a 40% chance of rain. So I'm not super excited for that.
And that could play
then,
into this too. Like
and then
I'm saying.
and then yeah, I don't know. It might be a long drive home from Nashville is all I'm saying. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'll be at the game. So if you want to come get a picture or whatever, just hang out, chit chat. I'll be at the Two-Tone Titan Blue. Damn it, I said that all wrong. But the Two-Tone tailgate, Two-Tone Blue tailgate. Damn, I'm screwing
Something
it all
like
up.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Get on Twitter or Facebook, either one. They're both there. Just go check that out. I'm gonna be there. It's with bells on. It's my first time, but I'm gonna have some fun because I mean, what the hell? I'm
Why
not
not?
expecting a win. I'm not
Oh, yeah.
expecting a win. I'm not expecting to go in there and be walking out like I am, like, let's go Titans. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting to go there, have some good times with some good friends, make some good memories, and maybe if luck decides to, I don't know, just start giving them butterfingers or have another Cardinals situation. Yay!
There was a game against Houston going back to Mike Vrabel's last year, and it was a terrible rain game, like pouring down rain. You probably remember this. And this was with Tannehill. And for whatever reason, he decided that game was going to be the one where he just has this air it out scheme. And Tannehill ends up throwing 4 picks. I think Tyrod Taylor was playing for Houston. So maybe he gets emotional enough and just has a terrible scheme going into this thing. But if the Titans win, Broadway is going to be extremely loud no matter what the weather is. So I'm praying that something crazy happens and you have the time of your life come Sunday, bro.
I was gonna say if the Titans win, I might not make it to work Monday. I might call the boss man and the boss at home and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna catch a hotel room here because I am plastered and I don't plan on getting unplastered at any point soon."
Yeah.
But hey, yeah, Two-Tone Nation. That's it. Two-Tone Blue Nation tailgate. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate you, brother. And as always, if you guys have hung around with us this far, we really appreciate it. If you haven't, if you don't like us, subscribe, whatever, share, do the thing because we just get on here and talk. Just because we love it and we're fans and we like talking. Yeah. That's pretty much it. We'll see you guys Monday. We'll have Scoob back, and we'll talk about what happened in this game. So, till next time,
Tighten up.
tighten up.
Peace
Peace
out.
out.